All right. So, hello to everybody. So, today it came in one of the meetings that I was involved with. Somebody came up and said, well, how do I keep all of this stuff straight? It's really difficult to do that. And that's absolutely true. So, that's what we're going to talk about today in the e-tech. I almost got that right, in the e-tech explainers that I'm doing for you. Now, if you want to get to the mailing list, where you can be on, you get all these e-tech explainers and a whole bunch of other stuff, you want to just scan that code right over there. I have a similar one. It's for health, wellness, health, fitness, and wellness. You want to scan that code over there. I'm Vinnie Martinelli, and I am here to hopefully help you out in any way I can. Listen, I've done a lot of these things. I've made a lot of mistakes. I don't do what I do at the beginning. You want to do what I do now that I've learned some stuff. So I'm going to talk about some time management for digital marketers specifically, but you can use this in many other businesses. But really, if you're at home, work at home, or you work remotely, or you don't have a boss. Listen, if you're your own boss, you're probably not a very good one, and your employee's probably pretty bad too. At the same time, it's your best employee, and this is your best boss. So you got to respect that. So in terms of time management, you want to prioritize what you do. So you want to set specific intentions. Intentions are very important, and they're not necessarily what you think. So they're not goals, they're bigger than goals, and they focus your energy, your mindset to those actions that you're going to take. And you want to aim your thoughts, and you want to align your thoughts with your actions, and you want to align your actions with your desired outcomes. So just ensure that they're all in a consecutive order where it makes sense and that one is supporting the next. And if you know what the end game is, then you can be able to act differently to get to that end game more efficiently. And these intentions are not directly in your control. All right. So for instance, well, I want to sell 10 books today. That's not in my control. What is in my control is I want to call 10 people and ask them to buy my book, right? That's something I can do. All right. So your intentions are characterized by that energetic focus and the psychology and universal energetic commitment. And see, the intentions transcend fleeting thoughts. They do require clarity and alignment and commitment. And this is really, in my case at least, and I think it would apply for just about anybody, this is where you want to do affirmations, because they will make it more than a fleeting thought, anything regarding setting your intentions. So the intentions are actually the desired and expected outcomes of your actions, and you want to mentally get into that state. Then you do want to set goals. So you want those goals to be clear. You want to define short-term and long-term objectives. And again, you want to make sure that they align with your overall plan, your project, whatever it is you're working on. And of course, you want the goals to be specific and measurable. You want those outcomes to have some life to themselves. So you've probably heard of the SMART framework. So specific, measurable, achievable, I don't always relevant, and time bound, right? So, and those are the types of goals that are going to focus your attention and foster strategic planning. So be very specific about the goal. Don't be, wishy-washy or mushy or whatever. And you want to be able to measure your results, and you want to make sure that you can achieve them. And you want to have a deadline to ensure that you're doing that goal within that allotted time. And since you're your own boss, you get to change some of the rules along the way, but you want to make sure that you're a responsible employee as well. So these are the actual tasks that you can control. So my goal, as I mentioned before, my goal is to write one paragraph of my book by the end of the week. Well, that's fine. I can do that. That's within my control. And you want to align these tasks with the broader business goals that you have. And again, this is digital marketing focused. So those broader goals could be getting a certain amount of product or services sold, or to recruit a certain number of people, or whatever it is. So one of the keys that I've used for decades is I ask myself, is what I am doing right now consistent with my intended outcomes? And if you think that through, that could be profound for you. So is what I'm doing right now. So as you're scrolling through Facebook, let's say, is that going to support your end goal? Maybe not. So then maybe you change, but keep that thought in your mind at all times. And every once in a while, check in with yourself and ask yourself that question. It could be powerful. And you want to prioritize the tasks that you're doing. So some people call it the Eisenhower matrix. I thought it was a Franklin square in my experience, but you want to distinguish between the urgent and the important tasks. So if I ask you, are you going to do the urgent tasks first or the important tasks first? And most people will tell me you're going to do the urgent tasks first. Well, that's not the best way to do it. You want to do your important tasks. These are important for your outcome. Those urgent tasks will be urgent after the important tasks are done. And anything that's not either urgent or important or urgent and important, those are the really the highest level on your priority scale, then the rest of it can wait or be delegated. And if you can delegate those tasks, you're going to be in good shape. So you want to focus yourself on the high impact activities that will drive your own results. And you want to create a daily agenda. So you want to plan today, tonight, before you go to sleep, maybe after you eat your final meal of the day, you want to plan your agenda for the next day. And the worst action you can take is inaction. So you wake up in the morning, I have all these great ideas and all these things that I want to do and achieve. And I don't know, where do I start? What do I do first? What should I do? Well, let me think this through. No, the day before, you want to list those things out. These are your planned tasks. And you want to allocate specific times for each one of them. So if you say, well, I'm going to do such and such activity on LinkedIn, and that's going to take 45 minutes, then you put that actually in your schedule and you adhere to it. You stick to it, and that's what you do for those 45 minutes. You do nothing else, and you stay focused. Oh, look, a message came in. Oh, well, that's not what I was planning to do. Oh, the phone's ringing. Oh, well, not what I was planning to do. I've got to stick to that schedule. And you can use project management tools. A lot of people use things like Asana and Trello or Keep or Monday for your task management. You can use a spreadsheet, whatever works for you. But you want to make sure that all of your management of those tasks is in one centralized location. So if it's on a spreadsheet, even if there's several tabs that you use, or if it's on Asana, Trello, whatever, you want to make sure that all of what you need to do is in one location. And you do want to go back to that time blocking. So you want to schedule blocks of time that are dedicated to those specific activities. And you can say, well, I'm going to allot 2 hours for social media management, and 45 minutes will be for LinkedIn, and maybe you're going to do 15 minutes on TikTok, and so forth. So you can have different levels of those time blocks. And you want to set milestones for yourself. And that's going to be very important, because if you have a big thing, I learned this long ago too. I was just a kid, and I do what you know first is what I came up with. That was my mantra. So do what you know first. I got this big project, and it's way too big. I don't even know where to start. Well, I know one thing. As I walk into this, let's say it's a garage, and I walk in, and the shovel's hitting the door, so I can't open the door. So I know I have to do something with that shovel. All right, that's something I know. Where to put the shovel might be something different, but I know it doesn't belong there on the ground blocking the door. So I take that shovel. And then, okay, this box doesn't belong here, or this belongs in that container, whatever it is. You start with what you know. So it's sort of the same thing with what you're doing in your professional life. And you want to celebrate even your small wins. And as you set these small milestones, those are the ones that you're going to celebrate. Okay, you didn't finish the day yet. So the day could be on the way to be productive, and you just celebrate. And it could just be a fleeting thought. It doesn't have to be, a keg party for you. So then you want to talk about productivity techniques, and a lot of people like to use the Pomodoro technique. So you work intensely for a lot of period of time, and then you intentionally take a break from that, and you want to reset your mind, reset your focus. So let's say you work 25 minutes of just concentrated really hard. Anybody can concentrate for 25 minutes on a particular task if they've got all the right tools and so forth, and then just take a break, sit back. And here's a great time, by the way, especially if you're doing all this on the computer, here's a great time to do your exercises. And your mental exercises, yeah, your physical exercises maybe, but I'm talking about your ocular, so with your eyes. What you want to do, and this is aside from what we're talking about really, but you want to focus on something that's, let's say, 25 feet or more away, and you want to hold your focus on that item for at least 25 seconds. And then you want to relax and look at something else. And you do that 3 times. And then you can do the figure 8 exercises with your eyes. You want to look left, look right, look up, look down, and so on and so forth. It's the focus, though, that's going to be very important. You want to make sure you can focus. And there's a whole bunch of science behind that. I'm not going to get into that today. I'm already derailing myself. But you want to enhance your concentration, and you want to prevent burnout. So that's why the Pomodoro technique is so that you work intensely, and then you walk away, turn your back on it, and do something else. You want to minimize your distractions. Of course, we all know that it's easier said than done, right? You want to turn off all your essential notifications. So one of the techniques that I use is that at night, I plug in all my devices, whether they need it or not. And in the morning, I know they're all fully charged up and ready to go. And you can do the same thing with your notifications. At night, you can say, okay, well, my notifications are going to go off because I'm getting ready to sleep, and don't turn it back on until you've done all of your designated tasks for the day. And you want to designate a quiet, most people work better in quiet workspaces and so forth, and you want to maintain that focus. So whatever it is. So for a while, I found this great radio station. I put it on, and it's got a lot of music that I like, and it has very few interruptions. And so for some of those mundane tasks where I can just use the keyboard and I don't have to use thought or interact, that was perfect. But in general, you want to have a quiet environment. You want to leverage your automation. So you want to automate any repetitive tasks, whether it's email marketing, social media posting. You can use tools like MailChimp, Hootsuite, System, Odoo, HubSpot, whatever you use. Make sure that the platform you're putting it on is okay with that, okay with the automated actions that you'll be taking, or you can end up in a real tough situation. So make sure they're okay with it. And you want to use the analytics dashboards to report, to automate your reporting back to you. Remember, you're your boss. So you want to look at those statistics and those analytics and find, okay, is what I'm doing working for me? But you don't want to do that during the day, right? You want to have a designated time. That could be an end of the day or end of the week activity for you. But you do want to look at those analytics to make sure that all your effort is actually being maximized by what you're doing. And here's another area, communication and collaboration. So if you are working with a team on a project, so this isn't really for people who are truly, solely self-employed, but if you have a team, you can use Slack or Microsoft Teams or whatever you want to use for centralized communication. You want to make sure everybody's on board, make sure everybody knows how to use it, and just let them know this is what we do, this is where we go when we want to put this information in. Don't call me, don't text me, don't send me an email if we've decided that we're going to use one of these other platforms for that. So it's in a central location. Everybody else can access that. And maybe they don't have to wait for you to answer, and maybe somebody else will answer that for you. Or maybe when one person sees some question, they get reminded of another question that they had. And so it's going to be much more efficient that way, at least in theory, and it seems to work. And this will also help those ad hoc meetings, or like I said, the ad hoc text messages and so forth. And you want to delegate for you, you want to delegate as much as you possibly can. So you take those, like I said, the urgent, the important, and the urgent and important tasks, and you need to control those. You need to do those. Anything else, you want to try to, if you can, delegate. And that delegation could be to automation. So you can help get AI to help you out with that as well. And whoever you're delegating this to or whatever, you want to provide the clear instructions, and you want to have clear deadlines, and you want to ensure accuracy and efficiency by doing that. And then there's the continuous improvement. This goes back to reading the analytics, but you want to conduct regular reviews of yourself, just as though you're the employee, and you want to evaluate what you've done throughout the day. And were you productive? Did you get the results that you had intended to? Did you do all the right things to get to the correct results? You want to analyze the effectiveness of your time management strategies, and you want to adjust based on the feedback that your boss gave to you, the employee, to see how that works out. You might need to make some changes. And there's something called upskill. So you want to upskill regularly. So you want to stay updated with the latest technology and the marketing trends and the tools and whatever's going on. And especially if you're doing social media live, then you want to make sure you know what's going on in the rest of the world. And you want to not have something go out that is a little bit insensitive because something happens, some disaster or whatever it is. And just be aware of all those things. But in terms of the technology, always stay up to date on the technology, and then cheat. So I mentioned artificial intelligence before. That's what you want to use. You can generate better quality subject lines. You want better quality messages, better quality content and graphics, and it can come up with better ideas and so on and so forth. And in some of these things, you can input your personality so that it will regurgitate its results in your personality, so it really does sound like you. And you want to watch for the key takeaways. For instance, the word delve. If you ask AI, almost any AI platform, any kind of questions, we're going to try to manipulate and get that word delve into it. Let's dive into it. And they just love that word. In any case, One of the programs that I would strongly recommend is going to be FlexRuby AI. It's an all-in-one platform. It's a self-learning app. It'll learn you and your personality, but you can also input your best consumer's personality in there. You can say, okay, these are the people who I want to send to. So have my results that you generate for me, keep that in mind. So you want to make sure that you have your right audience in mind, and that the AI is giving you the outbound results that will be attractive to that audience, or that an audience will react to, and so forth. And then you want to take care of your personal well-being. So you want to set boundaries. You want to set work hours. You want to stick to them. You want to maintain that work-life balance. But when you're working, you're working. And you want to avoid overcommitting to various tasks and projects and so forth. And if you're a very generous personality, it's easy for you to say yes. And it's very difficult for you to say no. Even if you want to, you really don't want to. You want to say yes. So just you need to control that. And the other people in your life need to know and support your schedule. You don't want to be getting text messages and phone calls and email messages and rings at your doorbell from people. They need to know these are your parameters. These are your hours. You are working for a living. You're at the boss's job, right? So don't call me during these hours. Don't send me these, funny memes and YouTube videos and so forth during these hours. This is when I work. And if you're working from home, there's other people in the home, then obviously things happen, right? The kids caught at school in a snowstorm. You want to know what time they're getting out. Yeah, you got to stay attached to your phone to get that message, or to the TV, whatever it is. As a rule, though, you want to have everybody agree that, okay, during these hours, no, you can't bring me something that's going to distract me. I don't want you knocking at the door. This is when I'm concentrating. And you're going to find out, though, by doing all these things, you're going to become much more effective, and you're going to have much more time to either dedicate into even more productivity or into the family life. So get the family aboard. If you've got one of those spouses who's going to work against you, it's going to be really difficult. If you got one who's going to really support you, it could be much easier. And you do want to take breaks. As I mentioned, you want to schedule regular breaks. And I say schedule, on your schedule, have an alarm that rings, and this is my break time. This is when I need to do it. It might even be physical exercise. This is what time I'm going to get on the treadmill, or this is the time that I'm going to have that nutritious snack that I need, because I want to make sure I have the right nutrients, because our body works on nutrients, right? You have to have nutrients for your brain, and for your thoughts, and for your sleep, and for your active life, and so forth. So you do want to schedule as much as you can. It doesn't have to be rigid and harsh, just something where during this time, this is what I'm intending on doing, and you want to stick to it, and you become much more effective and efficient by doing those things. So by putting all those things together, we as digital marketers can enhance that productivity. We can reduce that stress, and we can achieve even better outcomes in our professional endeavors than we could otherwise. So that's it for today. Please make sure you click that bell there, like this, hit the thumbs up, share the word, give me your feedback. What do you like? What didn't you like? What would you like to see more of? All those kinds of things. I appreciate it. Great being here with you. Take care. You guys have a terrific day.